Hey Craig, hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the 8th episode of the two-player co-op podcast that is here at twitch.tv/ the number 2 player spelled out COOP co-op. I'm player 1, I'm Trent.
I'm player 2, and I'm Craig.
And we're here to just talk about video game news, upcoming events, upcoming releases, things that just recently released, things like that. We'll be talking with you for the next hour. Craig, how you doing?
Sick.
Sick. Perfect. Like
absolutely awful.
Like everybody else right now, just sick.
No, everybody's getting sick. I just got this like scratchy throat thing, and it's awful. But it's okay. Like I'm doing everything else I possibly can to do what I want. It just sucks just to have to like go to work and just feel miserable, and all I want to do is like go to bed.
And what you want to be doing right now, especially, is talking for an hour to an hour and a half.
I know.
Straight, with no breaks.
That was my priority in life. It was first two-player co-op, and then sleep and maybe video games. I don't know.
Hey, at
I haven't
least
really
you can
figured
play
that
your
out.
3DS in bed. That's
Yeah.
what's or PS Vita, whatever's floating you boat.
I'll just be hunched over on my pillow, just like what do I do?
What you been up to this week, man?
You know what I have been up to lately is I talked to Scott about this and a couple of you guys on the Facebook chat, but I've been watching Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I just barely started watching
That's
it.
right.
And I have to say that's probably one of the best TV shows I've ever watched. And I'm not even like done with season 1. I think like if I were to recommend this show to somebody, the biggest thing I would say is that it's legitimately real. Like I've never felt like a TV show could feel so real. Like you know what I mean? Like I've just been watching the first couple episodes and like just seeing like Walt freak out about certain things and Jesse like wigging out and like all the other characters interacting with one another. It just feels legitimate and not so much like a TV show. It feels like I'm watching somebody's life go down the crapper.
Yeah, well, it's very genuine writing.
Yeah, it is. It's really genuine.
I mean, like you said, Walt's reactions. I mean, just the first episode. I still don't want to spoil anything, but Walt and Skylar in bed, just their interactions. It's very true.
Mhm.
It's very honest interactions with people, and the writing is just consistent, and it's amazing all the way through.
Totally agree. It's like I think like I felt anxiety when at a point where I shouldn't felt. Like I felt anxiety where Walt was holding like a knife and he's trying to figure out how to kill the is it 69 or whatever, the guy in the basement.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he like holds a knife and he's trying to figure out how to kill him. He picks up a hammer and starts like trying to like heft it to figure out how he's gonna smash some guy's like head brain out. But I was like freaking out, feeling the anxiety, just like oh my gosh, Walt's like freaking out here, and like I thought to myself, I know the series gets a ton worse from here on out, and I'm feeling anxiety just within episode 3. This is not going to be a good ride.
Yeah, episode 3, and especially the plate scene. That's like the scene that people will come back to and just be like, that scene was ridiculous, and that basically sets the whole pace and tone for the rest of the series. Honestly, I mean, it's that way throughout. I'm so glad you're finally watching it after it ends.
I know.
I mean, we've only been talking about it for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah,
No
and
big
like
deal.
whatever you guys talked about, I just didn't care because like I knew I was gonna watch it eventually. I just didn't want to be like engulfed in your conversation and have it ruined for me like certain key moments, so I can actually like watch the show and be like, what's gonna happen next? Or what's gonna happen next? You know?
Yeah. Keep watching, and I guess keep us updated where you are, and we could be like, yeah, that was really good about 3 years ago.
What have you been up to though?
Not working too much. And besides, something we'll talk about right after we're done with the intro here. I don't want to say what we've been playing for perhaps obvious reasons, maybe not. Other than that, I've just been sort of trying to get caught up on work and not been fun. I've watched Scott Pilgrim way too much, it feels like. I've watched Scott Pilgrim vs. the World like 3 times in a very
Really?
short amount of time. I don't know. It's just a feel-good movie. I mean, video game related, right?
Yeah.
I love the Legend of Zelda music that they use in it. I don't know. I can watch that movie over and over and over again. And I don't know why I'm talking about movies. I listen to movie podcasts a lot during the week, so that's probably it. So not much, except, and I guess we'll just get into it, right? Let's talk about what we've really been doing for the past week, or 3/4 of a week, playing Pokemon. Am I right, Craig?
Seriously, so right. Like, this has been my project for, like, the last little while. This little guy right here.
Oh, gosh.
For focus?
Sylveon on the screen there.
Yeah, Sylveon. That's my pride and joy.
So, should we recount what happened, I guess? We went
let's
out
talk about that.
with a friend Thursday night to go for I guess it was a bunch of friends, to go to wait for the midnight release. We went to a sports bar, curiously enough. Not by choice. A friend of ours, Scott Bott, frequent listener of the show, I guess. And, we played pool. And I'm not one for playing pool at a sports bar, but that happened. And it was fun, got to say. It was a lot of fun. Then we went back, kind of dicked around at Scott's house for a little while. And then we went to GameStop, where a particular brand of people were there. And we waited for Pokemon, and very, very cold outside. And we got it. Craig, I know that you haven't played Pokemon since Generation 1?
Yeah, I haven't played Pokemon since Pokemon Yellow. And funny enough, like, here's a little backstory behind my love for Pokemon. Like, I bought Pokemon Red. I loved the game when it first came out. I was the guy at like our grade school telling everyone, "Hey, we need to get this game," because I got that Nintendo Power with like the small like magazine that I talked about the first like part of Pokemon where when you went to Brock. And I was telling everyone this game's gonna be awesome. My dad went to Japan and he got me a copy of Pokemon Yellow in Japanese. And I was so excited, but I couldn't read what was going on, obviously. But I was like, oh, this is so cool. And they finally brought it to the U.S. I played the shit out of Pokemon Yellow. And then after that, like, every other Pokemon game was just, like, pretty much the same. I didn't have, like, a huge desire. I mean, I picked up, like, Pokemon Black or White, I can't remember. And, like, borrowed my brother's for, like, a little while. But then I got bored with it because it's just like, it's the same thing, whatever. And then this game came out, and my gosh, this just changed everything.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's like the same thing, even though you haven't played since Yellow. I mean, I haven't missed out on a generation. In fact, my first experience with Pokemon was thus. You remember those Game Boys? They weren't Game Boy Colors, but they were Game Boy Slims. I can't really remember what they called them. It was just like a normal Game Boy.
Pocket Game Boy.
Pocket Game Boy, that's right. It was like neon green.
I had a green one.
Yeah. So I got one of those, and then I got Blue. Blue was my first Pokemon game, and I popped it in. By the time that Blue and Red came over to the States, I'm almost positive that the Pokemon show was also airing at the same time, or perhaps prior to, because I do know I was very familiar with Pikachu. Anyhow, this game devastated me in a way few games have in my entire life. I played that game. I was switching out batteries from like the controller, my parents' TV controller. I
did that all the time
because I played this game throughout the night, no sleep, and I want to say it was in third or fourth grade, and I remember going to school. This is my first all-night gaming experience. Like, I have never done that before. Prior to that, I mean, why would you? Until you find that game that just takes you to that next level, and you don't want to put it down, and you just want to keep going. In one night, I think I got to Lavender Town in the Ghost Tower, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's a long time. I may have gotten a little bit past that. I remember specifically, though, just after Lavender Town, you can get a Pikachu in the grass, and that's why I remember it so vividly, because I'm like, well, I want to quit, but I'm not going to. So I went to school, and I ended up falling asleep, and my teacher couldn't wake me up. Just could not wake me up. The class was all trying to wake me up. Was not happening. I was out. It got so bad that they actually had to call my grandmother, who I lived with at the time. And she came, and I guess all she did was just kind of nudge me and go, Trent. And I woke up immediately. And then she's like, let's go home. And I just followed her out. I was like, that sounds great. It's more Pokemon for me, And it's basically...
no sleep and more Pokemon.
No, this is basically what X and Y has been for me so far. We got it. We stayed up till 4 in the morning, I believe, playing that game. Just all of us as a group. I believe there were 6 of us that went together and started playing it as a group. Now, having not played from red and from yellow, I guess you could say, up till now, how do you feel? I mean, how far has Pokemon come?
If like, I won't say that I didn't pay attention to the other versions. Like, I totally paid attention. I thought they're all really cool, but I never like sat down and actually played them. I was like, oh, cool, Pokemon Emerald, that looks awesome, or Pokemon Crystal, or Gold, or whatever, Gold and Silver. Like, I just never sat down and took the time to play it. And so to go back and play it again, it brought me back to my childhood, where like I was totally addicted to this game. Like, I have vivid memories of like getting Eevee and then turning into Jolteon and just be like, that's the coolest Pokemon ever, and making that my #1 guy. Even though I had Charizard, I was like, screw you, Charizard. It's all Jolteon from here on.
Gosh,
but like,
I hate you.
I know, seriously. But it just brought me back to being a kid again, and it was really fun, and I loved the game because of that. Like, it brings back so many feelings. And what's cool about it is, like, with the other versions, like, you play the game and you go to the first area, and there's a new set of Pokemon for that game, but in this game it brings back the older Pokemons that you encountered through Blue and Red, or like in Emerald, or anything like that. It's all encompassing. That's what is so cool about this. So like, anybody can play this game that has at least played one version of Pokemon.
Yeah, I really like how they're not relying too heavily on the new generation. And granted, there's only like 70, I think.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that they added, certainly. I know that. And I like that they're not relying too heavily. I think they know that. I think they're trying to get old people like you who haven't played since Yellow to play the new generation. It's three-dimensional graphics, which for their first outing on 3D graphics, I'm pretty impressed by, I gotta say, so far. The animations are really great. I mean, you can tell, like, repetitive animations, they use the same attack animation no matter what they're using. The little details like that where you can tell they don't have a lot of time with it, to expound on their engine or what they can do with the animations. But it's fine. It's still great. I've been loving this game. I love how it brings everything back to Generation 1. Like you said, sort of nostalgia. The way in which Grand Theft Auto 5 is sort of making me feel like playing Vice City game. It's really great. Makes you, like I said, just takes me back to those times when I was playing Blue and staying up all night. Having you guys, having a lot of friends play it with you is great. Also, because back in the day when you get in that cord, which nobody had because that was extra money, but if you could find somebody who had it, I mean, it was just very rare trading. Or maybe I had no friends. One of those two growing up was very hard trading. Could never get an Alakazam. Could never get a Machamp or Gengar or anything like that required trading, right? Or Golem. Golem was the other one.
Yeah.
And now I was just sitting at my desk here, and I got a text from one of my friends. It's like, hey, you want Alakazam? Yeah. Flipped open my 3DS, connected to the internet, traded within seconds. Like, you can trade anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at. You could be, in the grass, in the wild somewhere, and you'd be like, oh, I'm going to pop that open, and it's all the Pokemon that you have, including your boxes. It's so streamlined. They've taken everything that was wrong with the previous versions. They said, let's fix that. Let's bring all the old people back. Let's have, the original starters that you can play, because everybody loved those. Everybody knows those. Let's have Mewtwo again. I'm assuming I haven't gotten that far, but let's be honest, you're going to be able to catch Mewtwo again. And just making it an amazing game overall. I mean, I know that you're all about your Eevee, and you're all about your fairy type Pokemon and everything, so they have that for you. And it's just been wonderful. I've been playing it nonstop. I think I'm 20 hours in. And controversially, I mean, are you aware of what a shiny Pokemon is?
Yeah, I did a lot of research on like how to get a shiny Pokemon, because I'm like, I want to get a shiny Eevee.
Which I have.
Yeah, I know you do.
Shout outs to Regia. I've never... Well, I guess this is going to be a good segue into what I want to talk about, because apparently if you go online, they're talking about the catch rates for shiny Pokemon, which are about 1 in 8,500.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But last night I ran into a shiny Pokemon, and I caught it. It was shiny Pachirisu, which is an electric squirrel Pokemon.
Oh, cool.
You can Google it. It has no evolutions. It's just, instead of a blue stripe down its back, it's pink. It's great. How it has this silhouette, and then it zooms in and you see which Pokemon you're fighting. Well, there's all these sparkles and everything, and you're like, holy shit, shiny. And you freak out a little bit. Weirdest thing, though, I go to work, and there's quite a big Pokemon following at my work, strangely enough. Anyways, guy sits right next to me, plays Pokemon as well, and he comes and he's like, Trent, caught a shiny Onix last night. And I'm like, that's weird, because I caught a shiny Pokemon as well last night. And if you actually start Googling, people are saying that shiny Pokemon are a lot more common. And people are worried it's going to devalue those Pokemon. I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't know. I think it's just because you have a worldwide release, maybe, that everybody's posting, and there's such an internet phenomenon, I think, for the first time regarding around Pokemon, that everybody's posting their shiny pictures, right? Maybe. There's nothing confirmed whether shinies are more common or not, but that was my first real shiny that I've ever caught or encountered. So that was awesome. A little bit of a freak out moment. And I think we got 8 friends together, right? Mm-hmm. And we're each a gym leader.
Yep.
With types. And what we did was, I randomized our names, all of our names, and then I randomized types and then matched the names up with the types that came up in order. What type did you get, Craig?
I think I got originally ground, I believe. Rock, yeah.
And what are you now?
I am now a fairy gym leader.
A fairy gym leader. That could not be more true.
I know, seriously.
I got ground, which at first not keen on, but started thinking about the ground Pokemon, and I'm okay. I'm okay with it now.
Ground Pokemon's awesome.
One of my favorite Generation 1 Pokemon, if not my favorite Generation 1 Pokemon, is a ground Pokemon. So,
which one is that?
Nidoking.
Ah, dude.
Nidoking's a badass. Technically, he's poison ground, so it's not his primary type, but hey, he's ground still. Garchomp is a ground dragon, so that's pretty cool. Marowak's pretty good ground type Pokemon. Claydol's pretty. I mean, we can talk Pokemon forever, but general thoughts on how you feel personally about Pokemon, and then how successful the release was.
Dude, I just love this game. It's so cool. Like, it just feels like it's getting bigger and bigger in a good way, and it doesn't feel like it's like too big to where it's like, I don't know, intimidating for somebody to come in and play. But it's just a fun game that anybody can pick up and have a good time. And as far as the release, like, it's really successful. Like,
sold 5 million copies in 38 hours.
Unreal amount of numbers how many copies they sold. I mean, that just shows how much this game series means to not just the Japanese people, but to the world. Because it's like I said, like this game, Pokemon X and Y, it's bringing back everybody that has played a Pokemon game. And that's the best thing it has going for it, because it is very nostalgic, but also new at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's done a perfect job of bringing back the old people who are huge fans of the game. I think, for example, anybody who played the first generation game could jump in immediately to this and get hooked. In fact, a girl that at my work that I guess collected the cards back in the day and played the first round of games, one of our friends at work gave her the 3DS to say, hey, why don't you play it for a little bit? She's now buying a 3DS XL so that she can go buy the new Pokemon game. I think that's the type. I mean, it really has that nostalgic kick, and I can't recommend it enough. It's the best Pokemon game ever made that they've had yet. Yeah. It's good in so many ways, and I think all of the flaws that people bring up, I think as you go on along the game, those flaws will be taken care of. Like being able to see which Pokemon are which area, and have you seen all those Pokemon? Can't do that yet where I am in the game. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do that later.
Right.
Along with Mega Evolutions, all the new game mechanics, it's just great. I mean, I don't want to dwell on it too long, but you guys should definitely pick it up. It was a huge release this weekend, and trade with us, man. If you want to trade Pokemon, let us know. I am in the market for a shiny Nidoran male.
What?
A Nidoran male, a male Nidoran. So I can have
you and your males.
Well, I have to have Nidoking, otherwise.
That's true.
Which is neon blue, shiny, by the way. It's really cool. But that was just our recent releases. It was just Pokemon. Usually we talk about a few other releases, but let's be honest, Pokemon just dominated this week. There's not much else we can talk about. So there's Pokemon. There's our recent releases. Not much is coming out this week either, so we're just going to go into our Kickstarter portion. This is where we typically like to talk about Kickstarters, what to look out for, and what you might want to fund possibly. Last week, well, I don't want to say last week because there is one Kickstarter that was a couple weeks ago. It was 2 episodes ago. But what I want to do right now is give you an update on other Kickstarters that we talked about, see how they're doing. We talked about Reborn last week. It was that Japanese-inspired and Western-style video game that we talked about. Not a lot of gameplay. You can't see a lot of gameplay. They did have motorcycles, so a little bit there. You saw them riding on motorcycles. Very cool art style. I think you'd agree, Craig. I think you're a fan, if I remember. You can go check our last episode out. I'm not going to dwell on it too long. It's currently has $43,918 of its $200,000 goal, which is pretty good. I can't remember how many days it has left. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull that up.
22 days.
22 days. So it's good. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it's still fine.
I don't think it has much to worry about, but it's really cool. There's so many Kickstarters that I want to support. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And I don't know if I have it in me, maybe 2 paychecks from now, because I really don't feel like there are other Kickstarters that I want to support, one of which we'll be talking about soon. The Long Dark, we also talked about last episode. It's fully funded. It got fully funded. It wasn't fully funded when we were talking about it last week and had 5 days to go, I believe. It reached $256,217 of its $200,000 goal, so it got $56,000 over that. It's really, really good. And it looks great. It's a first-person survival set in the north, in the cold, cold north. So if you want to look that up, look it up on Kickstarter. It looks pretty awesome. One more update. RimWorld, which I think looks like a great game. It's a simulation space game where you build a colony, and you have to take care of the people in the colony, and there's different types. Again, that's 2 episodes ago. If you want to see us talk about that, it's crushing it, just killing it. $124,594 of $20,000 goal, and a $20,000 goal, which is really modest, especially in comparison to a lot of video game Kickstarters. I mean, for a video game, it's modest in general. It's a modest budget. Well, they have killed that. I mean, 124,000 out of 20,000. 15 days left. What's weird though, I didn't see any stretch goals on their Kickstarter website, which is a very, very smart psychological thing to do, because it's they've met their goal, but if I keep funding, then they can have this and add this as well. It just it keeps the money coming. As I don't want to seem like capitalistic or anything or anything like that.
In the end, it's a business, and they need to make money, so it's okay.
Exactly, and I feel like, I mean, last time I checked, I didn't see any stretch goals.
I'm looking on the page right now, and I don't see any stretch goals, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's hidden. Yeah. I think maybe in the text, I know for a fact I remember with the AI, which is very unique. Again, go hear about it. It's sort of like the Left 4 Dead AI. They wanted to do a few more personalities with that if they got the funds, but it's not specific as far as I can remember. So interesting there. Oh well, still completely crushed their goal, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is actually talk about a few new Kickstarters that have my attention. And Craig, it's great because I don't know if you guys know, I basically just put this stuff together for the week. And Craig and I talk about it right before the cast. Most of it is new to Craig, and I love doing that because I love to have his gut reaction on this stuff. So we're gonna go into window mode for basically the rest of the cast. You're gonna see us in littler windows, but we're also gonna talk about stuff and show you on screen. So let me get that set up. Did you support any of those Kickstarters that we talked about, Craig? Or
I didn't support RimWorld or the other one. What was it called? Freaking
Reborn, or the Long Dark.
Or the Long Dark. I haven't supported them yet, just because I've supported 3 different Kickstarters and gave a substantial amount of money to each of them because I love them very much.
Like Hyper Light Drifter and
Shantae,
Mighty Number 9. I know.
Mighty Number 9. So it's hard for me to give more money to Kickstarters until I get more money, obviously. But I put my money to different Kickstarters that I really like, and it's not that I don't like RimWorld or Reborn or anything like that. It's just I would buy them on Steam. I just have no desire to put money into them now.
You really have to prioritize at some point,
Yeah.
Otherwise, what can you do? I mean,
yeah.
I want to play Reborn really badly. I'm going to support RimWorld. I don't care if it's Man's Goal or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's so much that you have to prioritize, and we're gonna give you more to look at here.
Yep.
First one's called Raindrop. It's a really, really cool looking environment-driven survival game. Just going to show you a little bit of the gameplay here. Graphics look really great, surprisingly so for a Kickstarter game. Fully fledged, 3D rendered, reminiscent of Skyrim a little bit. I mean, look at that. That's great detail on the textures there and the environments. It's got a first-person perspective, much akin to, I want to say, Mirror's Edge, because you get to see your limbs falling around and everything. And just looking at this video, like I said, it has a bunch of, it's a survival. It says survival game. Fully explorable levels. It looks like he's being chased. He's running from stuff. You get items, it looks like, from the Kickstarter. At least that's what I gleaned. Craig, first...
oh, shit. This game looks awesome.
Yeah. Tell me about your impressions on this.
It just looks really impressive. Like, for a Kickstarter game, like, I want this to meet its goal because of how cool it looks, how it's like, it's incorporated that Mirror's Edge, like, movement style, but it's a horror game, so that sounds really interesting to me, how they would able to get that process, because, like, I wonder if, like, if you encounter something, like, scary, like your guy jerks around, and, like, you're not in, like, full control for a moment because, like, you're a little bit frightened, but, that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and this is, I'm going to keep playing it because it's quite long. It's quite a bit. You get to scavenge items to build objects, to piece together complex puzzles, you know, or go through dangerous death traps. You get schematics. Actually, let's see if I can't remember. Yeah, here we go, some more gameplay. They're using the Source engine, it says right there, which is a great engine to build on. It's Valve's engine. There's a haunting environment. They say it is, like you said, a horror-based storyline. Really excited. The environment that they built is really great. And apparently you have to battle your sanity. Maybe
That's so cool.
maybe yeah. Typically of it's powered by Unity right there. And maybe typically of so they have the Unity 3D engine, which looks great. But like I said, maybe typical of Amnesia. A little bit battling your own sanity. Maybe taking a bunch of Fallout. It reminds me of Fallout a lot. Looking at it.
It does, yeah.
And then, you know, battling sanity, a little bit of Amnesia there. You know, he's got a light. The light just kind of destroys everything around it. It's pretty cool looking. If you go to their Kickstarter website, you get to see a lot of concept art, a lot of what went into making the game. Like I said, they talk about Source and Unity a lot. They talk about the core features of the game, which the full body dynamic animation is really, really cool. You don't get to see that in a lot of games, actually. Dynamic weather, enemy pathfinding. I mean, a lot of the nerdy stuff, I guess you can think about in a video game, right? Yeah. They show you some really cool looks for cars, and then what you can do to mod them, it looks like. Customizable vehicles. So you'll take a normal vehicle, and then you'll turn it into like an apocalyptic zombie running over a car, basically. Canned goods and all these different things that you can make. Really, I mean, that's pretty ambitious. I don't know about you, Craig, but this game looks like, I mean, it's got a $144,000 goal. I feel like it'd have a bigger one, a little bit more ambitious. I mean, Reborn, which has an Unreal Engine, is $200,000. Their stretch goals are pretty great. You play $144,000 and you get Chapter 1, so it may be an episodic. I don't know there.
That'd be cool if it was.
$200,000 and we get open world plus additional content.
Oh, I was gonna ask if it's open world, because if it's open world, that's so cool. Because I can just imagine just being in like a town and like you're trying to get to like one point, and then you're like, you can take any route you want, and it's just a different like experience regardless of where you go. That'd be really cool.
No, absolutely, and this is what I'm talking about as far as, you know, big long goals, stretch goals. They really make you want to go, I want to get it there. I'll put this much money. $250,000 Oculus Rift integration, and then $300,000 co-op multiplayer, dude. So they do an adapted storyline to play with a friend. which I think is pretty cool, personally. Just going to play a little bit through this while I want to see, usually with Kickstarters, if you're new to it, it's just you pay for a certain rate and you'll get the game. I can't, let's see, $15 looks like it'll get you the game on this one, which is pretty decent, to be honest, especially with how this game looks. And Reborn, which, like I said, was what we featured last week on the cast, had an Unreal Engine, now it's $30.
So that's, is it now?
Yeah, so that's pretty good. $7, you'll be a supporter, get your name in the credits, and a desktop wallpaper. But usually, with games, of course, you want to pay for that entrance fee to get you the game as well down the road. $15 is very, very doable. So
yeah, it is.
If you want to look at that, looks great. And usually, we'll do one and two Kickstarters. So that was Raindrop. Now we're going to move on to our next one, and it is called EdenStar. And let's take a look at this, shall we, Craig? This is, I don't know what it is, survival creation game. Really, though, I don't know what it is. We've had so many survival games that we've been featuring on this, and sci-fi games and colony building games and everything. Look, I'm really impressed with this independent development teams making fully 3D rendered, really good looking games. Now, here we see a little bit of gameplay, Craig. Tell me what you think about what you're seeing right now, and sort of explain it a little bit.
Damn, that looks kind of cool. Obviously, it looks like your main weapon is this like gauntlet, and it brings me back to like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Kroll, where you have the glaive, but that's like one thing that comes to my mind. But it's kind of cool. Like it looks nothing like exceptional. It just looks like a good 3D rendered game. Where it's kind of similar to, I guess, the Half-Life 2, where you had the gravity gun, and that completely changed the gameplay and how you interacted with the environment and how you came up to opponents like, oh, I could pick up this item and like kill somebody, or like it's just a different like change of pace, and that's what that gauntlet brought to mind. Just the gravity gun, building, being able to do different various things. That's cool.
Yeah, so it reminds me a little bit of Metroid Prime, the way the first person looks, and sure, the movement and the way the HUD looks. You got things around you that look like a helmet, because you do have a helmet. You can see it on screen here. They're just showing the concept art for the main character. It's a sandbox survival creation game. It has physics-based combat and an interactive, destructible world. It looks like you can build things as well. You can fund the expansion and development of unique and powerful technologies as you create, destroy, and manipulate the world around you. So there's a little bit of a, I guess you could say, I don't know if I want to say sandbox, but I would say Minecraft feel. I mean that's basically the term for it anyways. As you can see on screen right now, she's building boxes around where she can land on, which seems to be the place to go. I mean, you get to build and defend your world. Everybody likes doing that. It's really, really fun. And then, like you said, with the gravity gun, a little bit, I would call it the gravity gun. I mean, you just basically get to take things with your gauntlet and move them around and destroy things, and it's really, really cool. So that's cool. Two cool ideas put together. It looks I mean, the graphics are pretty great. I mean, they're decent. They're not anything mind-blowing or anything.
And this is like a beta, like
yeah,
graphics
I mean,
it's not final product.
But yeah, exactly what you said. By no means final. And besides, even if it's not final, it still looks pretty great. I mean, the detail is lacking a little bit, but it's still, I mean, come on, it's really, really impressive there. And just to see this kind of detail and attention to detail in these Kickstarters is really surprising. It's got that free flow physics-based combat, and then the interactive environments. It looked fun to me. I mean, I was looking at this and I thought, that's something I would like to play. Like you said, maybe not fund necessarily, depending on if this is your jam. If this is your jam, go for it.
I mean, look at the goal. It's pretty large, but then it's in a different currency. So
yeah, I don't know what that translates to. I'm sorry.
I think, is it euros?
It's not euro, but perhaps, maybe it is. I could be completely ignorant on the matter.
I'm gonna figure this out.
Craig's gonna figure it out. It's got the Unreal Engine 4, which, I mean, you're really starting to see these developers use the Unreal Engine and really add to it. I'm not seeing any stretch goals. There are really cool T-shirts and a tin box set, sort of what you would expect to see from.
Oh, it's the pound symbol.
The pound. Oh, it's a pound, so it's British.
European. Yeah, British. UK.
Don't see any stretch goals. However, let's take a look at what will get you the game. So £13, or I guess it's a euro. No, it's a euro. Oh no, that's a euro. So it's 16 euros and then $21 and then £13. At $21, you'll get a digital copy of the game. So that's pretty good. Like I said, when you're looking at these games that have the Unreal Engine to it, you're gonna start to look at more to get into the game, which is fine. I mean, this for me, I think, isn't something that I would look into funding. What about you, Craig? I mean, nothing against it. It looks fantastic. It's just, if I had to prioritize and pick between the two Kickstarters that I saw, I think I'll go with Raindrop.
Like, it looks cool, and like its goal is really lofty. Like, here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing I with Kickstarters that really bugged me. Like I'm kind of a pansy ass when it comes to Kickstarters. Like, I want to make sure it's getting funded before I throw my money at it. But like, the goal looks really big, and like for what they've been.
For if you can't see it, and I'm agreeing with Craig here, £620,000, which is going to be equivalent to, man, I don't know. Let's almost double. I mean, ask Google, but I'm going to say around $1.1 million. That's a lot of money. And Craig brings up a big point. I didn't really pay attention too much to the goal. I thought it said 200,000, not 620,000.
Oh my god!
Pounds.
It's almost about $1 million.
$1 million, which is completely surprising. Mighty Number 9 didn't even have something like that.
I know.
Which.
They're at 1%.
They're at 1%. They've reached 6,251 pounds. It is a pound. I don't know about that. I mean, Raindrop seems a lot. I mean, the Raindrop graphics look better to me. The environment, the 3D interactability looked a lot better to me. I just don't think that this is something that they'll be able to fund. They have 43 days to go, which is a long time. It started yesterday, so I guess it was probably 45 days is what they started at. I don't know. What do you think they have a chance?
Of course everybody has a chance. I mean, just get mentioned on Kotaku and everybody will suck your dick. But
Fair enough.
That's what I feel sometimes how it works with Kickstarters. But like,
which isn't terrible for some of the better games, like Hyper Light Drifter, for example. I believe got it got on a Kotaku and it just blew up. And I try to get to the Kickstarters before Kotaku gets to them or any other website. I look for the most recent ones, and these are two I found. I haven't seen on any other website. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I haven't. There's nothing wrong with getting mentioned on a website. It's great PR work. Like, if like, hey, you should mention this, and all of a sudden you get a giant expansion of people like coming to you to like give them your money or give you their money. But like, when comparing this game to the other game, I guess the biggest thing that comes to mind is the environment feels so much more different. Like with that, what was it? The first one you mentioned, Raindrop. The environment feels so alive, so different, and then in this one, it just feels dead. Like it does.
The color palette is really dull. It's a sandbox game, and I guess it really comes back to that human experience that we kind of keep bringing up. Is that you want to have that human experience? That's what you're looking for in a video game, in a movie, in a book, in music, etc. And I think Raindrop has it, and perhaps EdenStar doesn't.
It could change completely, and like I forgot that EdenStar is a sandbox game, so of course it's going to be a little more open, and they can't have everything be there unless it's like Fallout where they're given a bunch of money to make this game anyway. But it just I like to have a game, like I don't care if it's open world or not. I want it to have a character to it, you know? Like, I don't want to look at it and go, okay, it's just, I'm on a planet, and it's dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Even sandbox games, I mean, the character design, the concept art, the world creation, all of that can really lend to, I mean, look at Minecraft. It has so much character to speak of and no story, and that's just because of the art direction, really. If you think about it, and the way the game plays and what you can do with it. So maybe the gameplay will be a salvaging factor there. I think if you look at us at the Two Player Co-op podcast or VidCast here, We do 2 Kickstarters a week, and you can really look at it in the perspective of, I mean, if you're going to fund one a week, which is pretty doable, I think you could say you can fund one a week, and and we spotlight 2 for you, and you had to pick one. I would vote for a Raindrop. My vote goes to Raindrop on that.
For sure.
Yeah, so both yays towards Raindrop there. Eden, Eden looks great too. Just not, I guess, not 2-player co-op's cup of tea, right? Just not our cup of tea, not something that we're interested. We'd rather...
It doesn't give our stamp of approval.
Yeah, we'd rather... I mean, great on you. It looks expansive, and it looks like it has a lot of potential there, but for my money, I would definitely go for Raindrop.
Yeah.
So, after that, that's our Kickstarter portion. So we go to, new releases, Kickstarter, and now we're going to go to complete video game news, sort of what's happening this week, and get our take on old and new things, and maybe bring up some other stuff. Just gonna head right into it. We're just gonna fight right off the bat. I don't even care. All right, Craig.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll put on my gloves.
I don't know if you've seen this video. I liked it, and for those watching, I do know that we have one Xbox One fan in the house right now. This gave it, and I'm just gonna play it. While I talk about it. And this gave some idea of what the friend list is gonna look like for the Xbox One. I just want to pause this right here. I'm gonna look at this for a second. So you can see your feed. They're calling it a feed now. You get to see your friends playing. You get to see a bunch of avatars and your friends playing games in real time. One said started using TV, one said started using Upload Studio. So it's not so much apps or games. It's actually saying, hey, I started using this and I'm started playing this. Yeah. Started watching Internet Explorer, whatever that means.
Starting at it.
Now I want you to take a look at the left here. It says my profile, and it says friends. It says 12 online, and this says followers. Maybe going a little bit towards the Twitter aspect there, Craig. What do you think about the idea of having a profile on your console device and having people following your gaming exploits in this manner?
That's really cool. That kind of like goes towards, I guess, the whole Twitch aspect where you can follow people who play games. I think that's awesome. I think it's really cool that Microsoft thought of that idea. Like, hey, let's just have people just follow other people to see what they're playing, what they're looking at, and just to stalk them generally, like they do on Twitter or Twitch or any other social media device. I think it's awesome. I think it's brilliant. Very smart.
I'm glad to hear you speak objectively about the Xbox One.
Not just berated for being awful.
Yeah. Now looking at this is what the UI is going to look like. I have the hardest time finding PlayStation 4 videos exemplifying what the UI is going to look like. The hardest time. This is a great idea of the aesthetic of the Xbox One and what it's going to feel like navigating the menus. Having seen this for the first time, I assume, Craig, what are your thoughts on this? As far as the aesthetic, simple. I like that.
Just very simple.
It looks fantastic. I would go do if you're not able to see this or you're just listening to it, look up Friends app on YouTube. It looks fantastic. It's not overbearing. It looks very, very manageable. From what I've seen of the PlayStation 4, it's very similar to...
It is very similar.
PlayStation 3. Not much updated, if you ask me. This is a huge update over the Xbox 360 from what I'm seeing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's basically redoing it completely because I don't know, this is just the Friends for the Friends app part of the Xbox One,
which is crazy because it's just that part and it looks fantastic.
I'd
you
like
get
to
see
see
badges and everything.
I like to see how it looks with everything else. As far as when you start up an Xbox One, what do you see for the very first time? That's what I'd like to see. Similar with the PS4, it's interesting how both gaming companies, the consoles haven't really released much regarding the user interface for each system.
Yeah, it's very strange to me as well. I mean, I get from what I've seen of the PlayStation 4, it looks very, very similar to the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it does.
Now this is a whole nother ballgame. I am very interested to see how the followers aspect is going to be. Mm-hmm. Are they really pushing the idea of uploading videos, uploading all that kind of stuff to the point where there will be followers involved.
Yeah.
Seems like an interesting concept. Does that sway you either way? I don't think PlayStation 4. I know you're not going to be swayed to Xbox One, but do you think it matters in the long run? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think it. No, I don't think so. Like, as much as I'd like to say it would make a difference, but I guess, like, because you're not getting your new console to, like, follow people and stuff like that. You're getting it to play exclusive titles that are exclusive to either the Xbox One.
You are getting that to do that with the play. And I guess that kind of brings up a different gamer, right? Like, PlayStation, that's for the single player. Why, Xbox is trying to go a lot more multiplayer. I know that there's cross-game chat and functionality with PlayStation 4 now, thank God. That couldn't have come.
Seriously,
you had a whole 10-year generation of a console where you couldn't do that. It's really, really sad. But understanding why they couldn't do that, I do understand why. There's hardware complications where it couldn't be possible. But still, man, I went in wanting to like the PlayStation 4. There was a period there where I believed I was going to purchase the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. I have to commend Microsoft for really bouncing back after E3. With this user interface video, their change in philosophy regarding unused games and always online connectivity. I just don't see myself buying an PS4 very soon. They would have to have an amazing... if they come out with something about the order that's just like, well, guess I'm spending $1,300.
Yeah.
Besides the lower price point, $400 is really great. I already, of Friday, I'm going to go pay off my Xbox One. Going to finish doing that. So,
I think the whole argument behind like the Xbox being more multiplayer oriented is valid for the 360 and PS3 generation, but I feel like with the PS4 and Xbox One generation, I feel like it's not a valid argument because there's some people that are already going towards the PS4, and obviously Sony's made strides to make the PS4 more like more multiplayer interface, because they show the video where it's like, oh, one of my friends is playing a game. Oh, I can watch them play a game. I can see what they did, their achievements.
Pushing
and I guarantee they
hard.
probably have a similar thing where it's like you can follow other people. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Hopeful wishing, I could say.
Yeah, because you like it. You like it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the argument is saying that, oh, well, the Xbox One is going to be more multiplayer based compared to the PS4 is I don't think that's a really strong argument, because we don't know what this generation is going to be like. We just know what we know about the PS3 and the Xbox 360, which, like I said, is a valid argument, because, like I said, like you said, PS3 is basically a single player, more based console compared to the 360.
Well, I agree with you. Certainly the gap has lessened from what I've seen with the PlayStation 4 era against the Xbox One. Definitely more multiplayer capability there. A lot more expectations. I think there's also something to be said that PlayStation 4 still has some catching up to do. I think Xbox One has a huge leap. They had that 10 years. I think PlayStation 4 did a huge jump forward to catch up. I still think they'll have to do a little bit of catching up, and they have a lot of ground to cover from that conversion, because you got to realize you have a lot of single player people coming from PlayStation 3, right? To convert to that multiplayer culture that Xbox 360 has already established very well.
And who knows, like, maybe that culture somewhat exists already on the PS3 with like games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, which is very popular obviously on the 360 as well. But whenever somebody buys like a multiplayer game and they both own the PS3 and the 360, they always go towards the 360. And it's going to be interesting how it's going to be for this next generation. Is it going to be like, oh, I own a PS4 and a 360, both are very popular social, like they're both like multiplayer capable games like the 360 was. And, am I going to get the Xbox One or the PS4 version?
Yeah, well, there's a lot less differences in this
yeah.
generation. And, it's going to be really interesting to me, having grown up and basically playing console games and PC games at the same time, Diablo being my first PC game, and that's old.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, and I've started to see, especially with you, well, I want to say especially with you, but perhaps a bit including you, a little bit of the PC players going on the defensive here. I really think with the power that's coming in the new generation of consoles, especially with the Steam machines, the PC players who have never, I don't think, have ever felt threatened, feeling a little bit threatened now. And I don't want to say that it's going to take over, but it's going to give a chance. And I really think that, like, well, I don't really need to talk about Xbox 360. I have a PC and Steam, and what? You go ahead, play your games. It doesn't matter. And now it's like, no, I don't need to buy a Steam machine. I don't need to buy an Xbox One. I have my PC, right? I don't need to touch those. I really think they're feeling a little bit threatened, or maybe not so much threatened, but they want to convince themselves that their PC is still all they need, and I don't think it's going to be that way this generation.
I think that happens for whenever a new generation is introduced, though. Like I'd like be it'd be interesting to see like how people back then, because like when the PS3 came out, I didn't have like a super powerful PC, so I wasn't like elitist PC Master Race guy. But I wonder if that's how they felt back then. They're like, oh man, this new console looks really cool and is on par with my PC. Crap.
Yeah.
But then again, like the culture back then for PC gaming was so different compared to it is now.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's I don't know. You got to realize I'm more of that balanced player. There's there's some things on the PC that I want to customize and I want to spend time with. And sometimes I just want to sit down and have a streamlined experience. I don't have to worry about customizing graphic settings. How am I get the optimized frames per second? I don't want to worry about that sometimes. I just want to sit down, be like, yeah, let's pop this game in. Let's play with some friends. And I think the Xbox One, and I'll throw in the PlayStation 4 as well, has the
asshole.
On the real though, the PlayStation 4 does look really cool. It has that streaming capabilities. They both look great. I think there's not much difference between the two, to be honest. Besides very small
exclusive
details.
titles. That's about it.
And they both have their great exclusive titles on both sides. I really think that we'll be able to do that a lot more, and it's going to be a lot more friendly and a lot more entertaining. I'm very excited. It's a month away. PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It's going to be interesting. Let's move on, I guess. There was that conversation. We're going to talk about quickly, Watch Dogs. Got delayed to spring 2014. Ubisoft's shares dropping 26%. That hurts a lot. That's a lot.
That's huge.
And that's sad for me, because that was a day one purchase on my end for the Xbox One. And now that we're having that push back to spring, that really sucks. That was going to be like my main game, and I thought I was going to buy Dead Rising 3. Now I'm thinking Dead Rising 3 has to be my main game, and I'm going to play Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts. Yes, you can make fun of me, you say that they're the same games and everything, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But you have to realize this is the first iteration of first-person shooter games to be able to
I'm getting Killzone for the PS4, so
there you go. So you have no room to talk.
I can't say anything except for it's better than Call of Duty in my opinion. But we don't have to talk about that.
I'm not going to defend Call of Duty, man. I have the biggest love-hate relationship with that whole series. And I just want to convert to Battlefield 4 so I don't have to deal with that relationship anymore. It's an abusive relationship. Let's talk about something else. This one is going to be Lightning Returns. Craig.
Oh, boy. Gosh. Why do we have to talk about this?
Okay, now, you played Final Fantasy 13, yes?
Yeah, I did.
Did you play Final Fantasy 13 2?
No, because
you hated how much Final Fantasy 13. Let me show you some gameplay.
Let me just talk about what I love about Final Fantasy 13.
Okay.
I love the world. I love the environment and everything. It's such a cool world. It reminds me of Final Fantasy 10, where it's like this futuristic world, and it's like, oh man, there's so much interesting things about this world they introduced, but you can't interact with any of it. So there's no desire to be a part of this world because it's so linear.
They don't make you be a part of it.
Yeah, it sucks. But like in Final Fantasy 10 or 14.2, I guess they fixed it a little bit. 13.2, sorry, where you can like interact with other people, but you don't have a party. You just have two guys, or one guy, one girl, and then your third party member is like a monster, and you can always change that out.
Classic Final Fantasy. Now,
it's boring.
are you seeing what's going on the screen right now?
Mm-hmm.
We see Lightning because she's returned. I haven't played Final Fantasy 13 or 13-2. I got out after 10-2. That really ruined the Final Fantasy series for me.
Killed it.
10-2 really. I mean, I heard which one was the 11 is online, right? With
11's online, which is fun.
12 I heard was good.
12 was awesome.
Did
man.
not play it. Maybe someday. Doubt it. I'm always curious to look about the new Final Fantasy games. I have a soft spot in my heart ever since the Super Nintendo era of games. Craig, looking at the gameplay here, looking at the playstyle, tell me what you're thinking.
I've watched this.
You love JRPG, right?
Mm-hmm.
You love JRPGs. I'm sorry. You said you've watched. Did you watch this gameplay trailer before?
I haven't watched this great gameplay trailer, but I've watched a gameplay trailer, and I gotta say, like, this game makes me actually pretty excited for Lightning Returns. In all honesty, because it.
Did you see her just switch her outfit? See, and that's the thing. Like, JRPGs, Craig, I can't compete with you.
Yeah.
I'm not inexperienced. I'm not ignorant on JRPGs. I have my fair share of backlog and experience with them. However, at some point, they really just feel the same. And Final Fantasy really killed it for me, unfortunately. It's just like, can't be in here. This makes me want to come back. Switching costumes, just like choosing your jobs, is what it reminds me of. And switching on it on the fly in the middle of... Now, you have to realize, what we're watching is not typical of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is typically, you wait your turn, and then you go and you just stay still. In this, Lightning's walking around. She's doing combos based off of the 4 buttons on the PlayStation 4 controller. She's making combos. She's changing costumes as she walks around the monsters. And it looks like more strategy, but there's still that numbers on the screen that we all love, don't we, Craig?
Mm-hmm. Well, like, if you've played Final Fantasy 13, like, it's basically the same system where you have, like, your attack. Like, it's different, like...
Attack, magic, items,
attack or magic
special
item,
moves for that character, basically.
And
they all
like,
have magic, they all have attack, they all have their unique move that's unique to them.
Yeah, but in 13, what they did is they had it to where, like, you can switch your moves on the fly, where it's like, oh, I'm more magic-based, or I'm more, like, offensive, or more of a tank character on the fly. But it's like, it was just very boring. It was like, okay, this is cool after the first, like, couple battles, and, like, but it just got boring. But this game looks a lot more interesting, a lot more strategy.
Real-time fighting, which I'm always a fan of, and being able to include magic, and it looks like an MMORPG. Can we just say that? Mm-hmm. You got the mini-map in the top right. You're walking around with health bars, and just like you would with an MMORPG. You're exploring, and people on chocobos where you can talk to them and get quests. It really makes me think, like, I do know Inafune, the creator of Mega Man, had a huge problem with Japanese-style games. Being Japanese himself, so he can talk about it, or comment on it, rather. They said they were dead, and I guess in the sense that they're all the same, their pacing and style is very, very different. It can't appeal to a mass audience, I guess, is what he was basically trying to say. Is this, you think, a sort of going towards the more Western audience with that MMORPG feel, very definitely going hugely against what Final Fantasy has stood for in the past, but still having that Final Fantasy flair?
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, like, being able to explore it. Like, here's the thing. Like, Final Fantasy 12 was probably the most Western influenced like Final Fantasy RPG they've ever come out with. And this is what it makes me remember. Like, because if you played Final Fantasy 12...
I'm sorry, can you see the customization here?
Yeah,
you get to change the colors of every costume she has, changing swords, and each costume can change their staffs and swords and shields. It's so cool. I love it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go on.
No, you're fine. Like in Final Fantasy 12, like, it's basically this. It feels like an MMO. It like works like an MMO. There's a lot of strategy involved where you have to, like, build your characters in different ways, and you have to, like, command them in a certain way and be smart about how you interact with other, like, enemies on the field. This looks exactly like it, but more strategy based, and you just play one person instead of a party.
Do you know why this has me interested in it?
Because Lightning's kind of hot. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't say Lightning's hot. She's a pretty gal.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Here's the thing: when I'm playing a video game, MMORPGs are great because they take time and you just kind of get click buttons. I'm not going to say no skills involved because that's not true, and I don't want to open that can of worms. But I think you know what I'm trying to say, especially with Final Fantasy games, I guess was what I'm trying to drive at, where you sit there. Of course, there's strategy with them. I don't want to upset all you people who find out all those crazy strategies to deal with bosses. But for me, I don't feel there's skill involved. You're sitting there, and again, try to understand what I'm saying instead of picking apart my words. With Final Fantasy, where you sit there and you wait for your turn, you have all this time to think, and you're like, oh, I'll do this and this and this. And yes, there is a bit of a reward to that. In this, it's rewarding your button pressing time, it's rewarding your reactions, it's rewarding your strategy and tactics as far as spacing goes. I guess it's appealing more to the fighting game person in me.
Yeah, really, I was going to say.
But really, though, I mean, look how cool that is, man. It looks so awesome. And she's sort of spacing and trying to get away from the guy, and she's switching on the fly, and it just seems a lot more quick, a lot more fast-paced, and a lot more fun. Can we just agree? It looks so much more fun than what Final Fantasy has been doing in a long time. So really excited, and that's actually going to be towards the end. She saved the Chocobo. Chocobo, of course, are awesome. And that, I mean, you don't like 13, didn't play 13-2, would you play Lightning Returns?
Oh, absolutely. I saw the first gameplay trailer. I was thinking, I'd play this game in a heartbeat just because I really do love the world of 13. I really love it, and I just wish they put more attention into the world rather than like this linear like storyline that was like okay at best. And this is like, when I'm watching this game and the trailer, it feels like they're going to pay more attention to the world and to get you like into it again, because everybody that talked about it online loves the world. I mean, Cloud Strife costume, that's awesome, but like the world's just awesome. It's very cool and interesting. There's just like, you didn't know much about it. It was a mystery because there's not much you could do. You couldn't interact with it. So to be able to like play this game, which is feeling more world based, like you can do what you want to do, that is awesome. That's very cool and very appealing.
Yeah, I might actually pick this up. Not having, do you have Final Fantasy 13 still?
No.
Great. Yeah, that makes that. I'm not surprised. I was like, I'll borrow it from you just so I can get the world, like you said. Even though I'd pump in like,
it's so cool.
Let's go buy it
really
from Graywell
cool.
for like $10, whatever.
You probably could. The world's really cool. I'm being dead serious. The world is awesome. It's very reminiscent of Final Fantasy X, like I said. It's just they didn't pay attention to it. It sucked.
Here's another problem. Comes out February 11th in North America, 2014. Xbox One will already be out. This is only coming out for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I hate that period of time where you're switching between consoles. I hate it. But we're going to have to deal with it. I guess we'll just start being long-haired a little bit. Let's go Batman Arkham Origins. Craig, have you been following Arkham Origins at all?
I haven't. I just know that the guy who does the Joker is fantastic. What's his name?
Guy who does Joel from Last of Us. He also did Booker DeWitt in Bioshock Infinite. He has a very, very common name, and I always forget it for whatever reason. But Batman Arkham Origins.
Troy Baker.
That's right. Troy. Yeah. I always think something else, like Travis. I don't know why.
Yeah.
This game looks great. I always had reservations about it. There was this Firefly trailer that they've been talking about online recently. Have taken it down since then from what I've seen, but this is the Gamescom trailer where it showed Firefly for the first time, who is one of the assassins chasing after Batman. You see Deathstroke, you see Bane, you see... gosh, I can't even remember her name. I want to say Lady Shiva for some reason. Yeah, that's definitely not it. Basically, all the assassins. This game looks a lot more action based. It looks like it has a lot more people that are going to challenge Batman one-on-one instead of dealing with thugs all the time. Which I'll be interested to see how it works out. Were you a fan of the other Arkham games, Craig?
Yeah, they're awesome. I just wish there was more like battles with like actual like evil villains rather than just like, oh, I'm fighting a mob of enemies and then, oh, cool boss battle. I wish there was more like boss battles spread out throughout the game.
Well, perhaps you'll enjoy this game because it looks like there is a lot more boss battles and type of one-on-one engagements with other villains. I'm really looking forward to this game. I love that there's assassins like Deadshot, Deathstroke, Firefly, a lot of lesser-known Batman villains that are going to be included in this game. Again, I went from, why are you doing a prequel? That's so stupid, too. I'm so on board. This game might even be the best. And that's saying a lot, especially after Arkham City.
Yeah.
Worldwide release, October 25th. That's way too close. What the hell? I don't have...
Oh, my gosh.
That's next Friday. I don't have enough time or money for all this. I don't know how I'm going to find a way. I have to find a way. You know, it hurts me to say this might have to be a delay.
Yeah.
I might, with Pokemon and Grand Theft Auto 5 that I'm still playing, Xbox One coming out. I don't see that it's coming out for the Xbox One, unfortunately. Man, this is going to suck. I hate that period where you're like, oh, that game, I want to play that game, but it was on the last generation. It's maddening. It's maddening, dude. I hate it.
It really sucks, man. I hate it.
So let's go back into JRPG mode, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I know you love it. Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay trailer. I know you were all over this. I know you saw it.
Dude, I saw it. I was like, I was
going
going to link it to you, but I'm like, he's seen it already.
Well, it's our job, right? We got to see. What are your thoughts? I want you to tell me your thoughts on the new gameplay trailer while it plays. Go ahead.
I'm just really excited because I was reading an article where a guy was interviewing the guy who makes who was basically the gameplay creator. His name is Tetsuo Numero. He talked to him about what are the bunch of changes that there's going to be implemented into Kingdom Hearts 3, and he talked about the intelligence. Why can't the AI of the Heartless is going to be a lot smarter. They're going to work in packs and not just be like, well, I'm going to do my attack and then a couple of seconds later another one does it. But they're going to actually work together and be
strategize
more,
and time their attacks.
Yeah, it's going to be more maddening to deal with a giant group of Heartless. And then freaking Railroad here summon. Looks awesome.
I know you saw the it's the big Magic Mountain summon. You saw the I don't know if I'm going to rewind it. I'm sorry, I'm going to rewind this. Because I didn't notice that if there was a name for this other summon. Oh, the pirate ship. Yeah, it's a pirate ship summon, and it looks like the ride where you go around up and down. Yeah. It obviously is inspired by Disneyland or Disney World, where there's those rides with the pirate ship and the train, the big Magic Mountain train. You know what's funny about Kingdom Hearts is every time I see trailers and I'm like, that looks... Why would I enjoy that? That looks so dumb. But it's weird. It's a visceral experience when you're playing it. It's just I love this. This is the best thing in the world. Why wouldn't I be playing this? I'm always for playing a new Kingdom Hearts game, man. I love the series way too much for whatever reason. It's weird. I want to say it doesn't look too different from the PlayStation 2 game. I guarantee you, though, if I went back and played the PlayStation 2 game, it would look vastly different.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. The PS2 Kingdom Hearts 2 looks really good still. It looks awesome, even though it's on the PS2. But watching this, it just shows how much power the PS4 and the Xbox One is capable of having, and watch, it's just throwing, there's just so much going on in that world. And when I was reading through that article, there's a couple of things that really stood out that that made me go, oh, that's interesting. The guy talked about the processing power, which is interesting. He mostly talked about the PS4 and not the Xbox One, which made me go, there's obviously some sort of favoritism towards the PS4, obviously because they're Japanese developers.
Well, they've been working on the PlayStation since PlayStation 2. Yeah. And then we're on 4 with Kingdom Hearts, so I'm sure dealing with the Xbox One, he's probably not too much of a fan.
And they're both hardware-wise, they're both pretty much the same. But when he talked about the processing power and how much RAM is available, he said there's just so much to do. It makes the game more open, and that it feels when he said more open, I was thinking, maybe this world isn't going to be as... Because, if you play Kingdom Hearts linear, I'm going to go to just place to place. But he talked about how, you're able to, do more landscaping. You're able to climb buildings, jump higher, and it just made me go, man, is this game going to be a lot bigger? Is that why they've been pushing this game back for a really long time? Because this game's going to be so big, not just like in the sense of like story wise, but like the worlds, each like different world's going to be a lot bigger. And a couple other things that he mentioned that I really thought that was really cool is that there might be, you know, some integration with like tablets and the PS Vita.
Oh man, that's what they're all doing nowadays. Dead
Yeah,
Rising 3, let's be honest. I mean, and he even said himself that the E3 teaser was jumping the gun a little bit because we're going to be waiting on this for a while. But it's always fun to have these videos thrown out. I mean, at least we know. I am happy that I know for a fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 is out there. It's being made. I never thought I'd see the day, especially after that teaser trailer after the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. And who knows if they'll implement those crazy armored people with keyblades. Maybe. Hopefully not. I don't think it'll be a good idea. I'm going to move on. It's weird. Let's just touch on this briefly because it's weird when I was watching Lightning Returns how much this is similar to it. Tales of Xilia 2. Are you familiar with the Tales of Xilia games, Craig? Of course you are. Please tell us about it.
It's basically the newest installment of Tales series that Namco has come out with. It's a very cool world. I mean, obviously it's very Japanese anime based. But as far as like Tales of Xilia 2, it basically takes place a year after the Tales of Xilia story, which basically you follow a god essentially who made herself into a human and is trying to basically save the world, and you're basically this lone medic, this scholar of a kid who is somehow good in using his fist as a weapon. But it's cool because the story is more like you're trying to go grips with like what you should do as a person. Should I help somebody out or should I just do what I should do like every day selfishly? It kind of has like that moral conundrum type of thing throughout the whole entire story, which is really cool. But as far as like Tales of Xilia 2, what I know is very little, obviously, because I'm still playing through Tales of Xilia right now. I just know that
they're so damn long.
So
every JRPG
long.
is a 100-hour investment.
And it's really a cinematic adventure, and the combat is so fun.
Is it anything like this? What I'm seeing right now?
Yeah,
what we're seeing,
absolutely.
just this crazy Link art, like combo-based numbers. It even seems quick. I mean, Lightning Returns seemed a lot more fluid. It was a lot more beautiful. But this has like 5 people on the same map battling the same enemies, and it looks nuts. It's so quick. It's so anime. It's so over the top.
It's so anime. It's so fun because like the combat system works is like you have your main character, and then there's 3 other characters with you, and you can basically link up with any of those characters, and those 2 other. So like if you link up with like one character, the other character links up with the other one, and basically you can like switch links and like do different combos and different arts. Arts is basically the magic system in the Tales series. But yeah, it's hella Japanese, as you can see right there.
Very,
but it's
very
so
Japanese
fun.
looking.
I love the Tales series. It's very cool. Like if you're into like anime and like living that JRPGs and stuff,
numbers
it's totally
over
for you.
heads.
Yeah,
I thought it looked interesting. After seeing Lightning Returns more, though, I would definitely. That game looks great. I don't know. It gets me that MMORPG fix just by looking at it, but also cool gameplay. So
the thing that's cool about the Tales series, it's obviously the journey, but you grow attached to the characters because they're all like really fun, they're really cool, and like that's what. And like when you're playing the game, you'll go through like a different segment, and then all of a sudden like a little like if you played Final Fantasy 9, right, where it has like the active time events where you can like watch like Zidane talk to Vivi about something. Like it has stuff like that where your party will like interact with one another and have like some sort of like funny like jib jab type of thing. It's really cool, and there's so much to that game. It's just really fun. I don't know. I can see a lot of people not being a fan of it, but I'm a huge fan of the series.
It is a little bit more of a niche group of people, but hey, that's why I bring it up, because we're gamers of all types, right? We're just never going to talk about sports games on this video. It's going to be the same thing over and over, and nobody cares.
Yep.
No, I kid. Not really. Moving on.
We're kidding.
So, actually, Craig brought this up to me, and I had no idea about this game at all. until Craig brought it up, and I guess it's getting good reviews. Sonic Lost World, what? Sonic getting good reviews. Actually,
I know.
looking at the game, I'm not too surprised. It's a rip off of Super Mario Galaxy. Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, which you'll see in the gameplay soon enough. If you're not seeing it, go ahead, Google or YouTube Sonic Lost World trailer. It is going to be for the Wii U, and it looks fun. And that's the thing with Wii U games. They're never immersive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. They don't really get you into universe as far as that goes. Emotionally, what they do get you in there is in the universe physically, as far as gameplay wise and how you feel like really attached to it. This looks like Sonic. I think they were able to really bring back the feel of Sonic. And
do you know why it feels like a Sonic game? Because there's little to no story.
And please keep it that way. Good Lord,
look at like all the bad like Sonic games. They have just
try so hard.
Try so hard to make a good story, but like all of the recent good Sonic games, like Sonic Generation and Sonic Colors, like very little storylines. Like, oh, this is just a fun game.
Yeah, and that's all you need. I mean, look at this. Mario games are still doing that. They don't have any story.
Yeah.
Oh, Princess gets captured. Go save. Same thing with here, Sonic. Just run fast and save animals. That's all you need
to
go
fast.
And it looks pretty cool. I mean, at its core, the Sonic gameplay seems very, very superficial, I almost want to say. I don't know what it is with Mario that makes it so much more fun to me or more enjoyable. And gosh, I can't believe how much they're ripping. I don't want to say ripping Mario off, but they are borrowing heavily from the new Mario games. He has different powers like burrowing and being
that's from like
flying.
Sonic
and
Colors,
come on,
like,
this is Mario Galaxy. Holy crap!
Yeah.
And maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe they need to start borrowing from some other gameplay mechanics that work, so they can start to find their own voice and their own way of working things. Because what they've been doing hasn't been working so far.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. Been getting pretty good reviews, like 9s and 8s and stuff, which is really surprising for a Sonic game. It's got 2-player Wii U support. I gotta say, the Wii U, played it for the first time over the past weekend. It is super fun. They have really creative ideas with the remote and what to do with it. And this looks cool. New villains. I'm always a fan of that. Very, 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 very Mario-esque. But hey, very cool. Maybe you want to check it out. If you have a Wii U, I know I don't.
If I had a Wii U, I would buy this game in a heartbeat.
If I had a Wii U, I would probably Redbox this game.
Yeah.
But I would still play it. I think I might have some fun with it. Against the Deadly Six, not to be mistaken with the Sinister Six. Sonic Lost World, only on Wii U, I believe, and you can go ahead and check that out. Might be something up your alley. Kind of crazy that the Sonic game is getting decent scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Moving right along, Craig, this is going to be short. Do you know there is a Spelunky Death Roulette
I
website?
saw that article you sent to me, and that's really cool because I am kind of addicted to salty bets sometimes. Like, I'll just be like, oh, I'm going to look on salty bets, see what's going on, and kind of ruin my life because of it.
Yeah,
but
let's be honest. Salty bets is like a Mugen fighting game where you create your own custom fighting game characters and they battle it out, and it just the AI goes at it and you bet who's going to win. This is the Spelunky version where you tune in to any Twitch channel, anyone that is playing Spelunky, and you bet how they're going to die. And it's used Spelunky bucks. And when I found about this, I was like, damn, there goes my free time on the internet. I love Spelunky. We've talked about it a lot. Probably not going to touch on it too much here. But please go ahead and look it up if you're or go look up Salty Bets, any of that. If you ever want to have a more interactive Twitch environment where you're sort of like in that Vegas feel where you're betting fake money. It's really fun. Let's check it out. I haven't really played around with it too much, but I will, I promise. Just going to wrap it up here with Double Fine's new video game trailer that they're working on. It's called Spacebase DF-9. You know what? Surprisingly, you wouldn't think, Craig, but it's a colonization game in space. And you build a space station. I mean, it's really weird. I mean, I gotta say, it feels like to me looking at it, indie games are really hitting it more to home than the big box games are. Even though I'm playing 2 big box games right now, Grand Theft Auto 5 and Pokemon, these interest me the most. As you can see, you build your space station, you keep your citizens happy, you make a safe. There goes those 3D rendered claymation. I feel like clay fighters. They look like clay fighters.
Yeah, they do.
You build different environments for them to work in. You fend off invaders. I mean, what you would expect. It's like a 3D rendered Star Command game is what it looks like to me. Except you can build your ship, which is a lot better than I don't want to say better than FTL or Star Command, but a lot more enjoyable if you're into that thing. You can play the alpha now on Steam. You can pre-purchase the alpha access. So if you want to do that, you can go there, join the community, offer feedback, all that good stuff. What do you think? Have you seen that before, Craig, at all?
I haven't. It looks awesome. It looks like freaking Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest, Spacebase DF-9. It's sort of like RimWorld, like we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
I personally prefer RimWorld because you're on a planet. Space freaks me out. But building a space colony looks pretty fun. And Double Fine, they know how to make a good video game. Makers of Psychonauts and Costume Quest and Stacking and all that. Pretty fun games. Really good games, especially Psychonauts. That's basically it. Always going over time. I do apologize. I don't know if we'll ever hit that hour mark, really.
No, we never will.
There is a hope of it.
There might be 1 week where it's the summertime and there's nothing to talk about. But there's always something to talk about.
Always something to talk about. Always something interesting. Hopefully, during this news and releases and Kickstarters, we were able to tickle somewhat of your bone for video games, your interest, pique your interest for anything that you might like regarding video games. If you're here because you like them, and hopefully we can bring news more to you that you like as well. Anything else you want to add tonight, Craig, before we start wrapping up?
Oh, jeez.
Watch you play Hotline Miami, right? Watch Craig
seriously.
every night.
I beat that last
Tuesday
night,
night.
actually.
Beat it last night. Watch him.
Oh my gosh, that game is so good.
It really is.
I didn't like the ending because it felt so sudden,
Yeah, well, Hotline Miami 2 is coming soon.
I know they're gonna do. Obviously, there's gonna be a second one, but I was just like, oh man, I wish there was just one more level.
There is a bonus level. I don't know if you played it.
I played through all the bonus levels.
Okay. Well, there's your bonus levels. I have nothing, man. I'm gonna go play more Pokemon. Watch some TV. Catch up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe.
Is that show good? Have you watched it?
It's not that great, to be honest. It's I don't want to say bad. I will say that it has. I don't even know if I'd go as far as to say it has potential, man. It's the pacing's so forced. I only watched 2 episodes. I forgive the pilot. They improved on a lot of the flaws of the pilot. They still have a long way to go, and it's up to episode 4 now. So maybe I'll go catch up on episode 3 and 4, but we'll see.
What are people saying online about it? It's okay?
I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't looked into it online. Really, if you go off the pilot, people are hit or miss in general.
Yeah.
And I think the people who are hit and like it is because it's S.H.I.E.L.D., it's Marvel, and they want... No, and I don't say that in a bad way. I say it in the way that they want to give it a chance. Does that make sense? They want it to succeed, not because they're blindly following it because it's Marvel. And I can see that, and I'm one of those people. I want it to succeed too. It's weird how DC and Marvel have this relationship of Marvel's great at the movie universe, sans DC with Dark Knight trilogy. I don't really count that. They're wonderful. Trust me. If you knew me, you would know I love those movies.
Right.
But they're their own universe. It's sort of hard to count it as a DC universe. It's the Nolan Batman verse. It's basically what it is. So it's hard to say DC. DC is really great at TV shows and cartoon movies, animated movies.
Seriously.
They're wonderful at it. Marvel sucks at both of those right now.
Yep.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is not that great. They're trying way too hard, and their animated movies are garbage. Well, I'm being a little overly harsh, but they're really not that entertaining, man. I watch them all the time.
TV show I would say that's actually good that is Marvel is Spectacular Spider-Man. That's the best animated TV
and compared
show,
to Justice League or Young Justice, it's no comparison.
Have you watched Spectacular Spider-Man?
Have you watched Young Justice?
I have watched Young Justice.
Nothing
awesome.
beats Young Justice. Yeah, I have watched Spectacular Spider-Man, and I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man. But Spectacular Spider-Man, Young Justice is the best animated comic book TV show that I've seen. I think it's
Yeah.
fantastic. But anyways, yeah, maybe go watch Shield, go play some more Pokemon, just kind of relax for the rest of the week. I will be streaming tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can find us every week here, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. or 8 p.m.-ish, more like 8:15, but I want to say 8 p.m. You can find us at Twitch TV / 2-player co-op. That's the number 2 player spell out and then co-op, COOP. You can also find us on our main website, saltpop.net. It's basically where 2-player co-op is hosted. You'll find all of our archived articles there, where we put together articles there. YouTube.com/saltpopofficial. That's where all of our archived YouTube videos are going to be at. And follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/saltpop. That's where we do updates. If you really want to know, like 15 minutes before we air an episode, we'll put it on there, and then you can tune in at the time that we'll say we'll be on, because we usually do it on the dot, right? Craig is like, hey, we're going to be at 8:15. Turns 8:15, we go live. So if you really want to know exactly on the dot when we're going to go live, if we're running late from 8 p.m., go follow us on Facebook. Twitter, I'm at Player1Trent. Craig, what are you?
I am at AgroXCraig.
Follow us. You can follow us there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be it for us tonight, episode 8, guys. Player1Trent, I'm going to be signing off.
Player 2, Craig, I'm going to go curl up in a bed and kill myself.
Go feel better. And we will press continue next week. See you guys then.